So here I am at the Asustor stand here at Computex 2026, and I'm going to tell you something right now. It's becoming something of tradition of this show the last few years, that every time I come here, this brand is rolling out a new flash solution. This year, it is the Flashstor Gen 3. Now, we've already seen previous iterations of this family where we saw them going through 6-bay and 12-bay solutions. The original one rocking out with an Intel Celeron processor, the second generation rocking out with a cheeky little AMD Ryzen processor with no integrated graphics, and today it is the Gen 3 that merges a lot of that together. Now it's rocking out with a 6-core AMD processor, the 8640U. That processor inside there, alongside it arriving with support of ECC memory, but by default, not arriving with ECC, it'll be having SODIMM 8 gig out the door. This system also arrives with 10 gig networking connections. There's one port on the 6-bay and 2 ports on the 12-bay model there. There's also direct attached USB connectivity. So you've got USB 4 for that direct point-to-point connectivity in a way that didn't really pan out for everyone in the Flashstor Gen 2. But what's really intriguing is they finally brought back the visual output there, because there were a lot of users that wanted an integrated graphics chip. They wanted to take advantage of visual output. This has got both the SPDIF and HDMI output there across both the 6 and the 12-bay models. Realistically, most people that are going to be looking at an all-flash solution rocking out with a CPU with a high TOPS rating as this one, chances are they're doing it for AI. Like it or lump it, it is here. Now, at the moment, they are developing their own kind of in-brand splinter of OpenClaw. Asustor Claw, name in progress, allows you to take advantage of AI assistance and deploy it locally via a one-touch application. From there, you can go into the settings menu that will allow you to download pre-existing models that are out there for you to use. Now, bear in mind, currently you're still going to have to use these off-site options in order to get the job done. They have listed it to make it a lot easier to one-click install with support of multiple options, as well as the option to take advantage of on-prem or local options along the way as well. It's an interesting way of doing it, I will say, because I'd be more interested to know just how much you would be able to locally deploy on this system, given the amount of storage potential as well. But again, for those that have already seen the likes of OpenClaw, it's an open secret right now, the capabilities of it, but also the security concerns that are about it. Now, in its default state, they've made it abundantly clear that one, the admin is not going to have power user status, whichever is associated at the beginning with the Asustor Claw setup. So the ability to destroy data won't be there. But certain commands that you might perform to copy, for example, data from a mission critical area into a more publicly accessible area, it will be barred out the gate and you'll have to seek admin approval. And that goes, by the way, right the way down to using things like WhatsApp, WeChat, etc. for the AI assistant remote access along the way. Again, it's interesting, and although it might feel a little bit like they're just jumping on a trend with everyone else, it's nice to see them putting their own little spin on it in terms of their local access and their local architecture there. Again, it's still early days. I'm sure it'll roll out in beta very, very soon, and I also know there's a lot of users that won't be interested in this. That now, it is an option. You don't have to deploy it, and obviously there are paid and unpaid options, and you've got the option to use local client-side assets, but still nonetheless, I admire the innovation of it, and this is something that's going to be available for support on a few other devices in the Flashstor series as well, but it's still early doors. I've already asked the brand about this because I did have one major question, and that is the PCIe lane layout. These devices here have still been described as in development, not loose in there. These are still going through late prototype stages with release later this year, with the price still TBD. That said, we are still looking at, I've asked a few people there, about the PCIe lane alignment, and I'm seeing here 4x1, 4x2, and 4x4 mixture across the board there. So I know that's not going to be for everyone. Now again, they're still investigating this, because I think a lot of this comes down to them wondering about making the most of the CPU versus cutting some M.2 NVMe's off at the legs to align one performance across all of them. So do keep that in mind. It does sound like you've still got the same lane allocation possibility compared to that of the Gen 2, but crucially, this is an integrated graphics CPU inside the Flashstor. As I say, this is a true merger of what we've already seen from this series in the previous 2 generations. But, as I say, it doesn't seem it's 100% finished yet. So this is, I would argue, maybe a Q3, Q4, but stay tuned for that. But this has been the Flashstor Gen 3 here at the Asustor stand here at Computex 2026. Stay tuned for more coverage of this brand and others throughout the course of this week. Thanks so much for watching.